following show is a paid program.
Hey family, how you doing today? We have Aaron Johnson with us, CEO of Fitness Club International, and he's an author. Hey my friend, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. I am so glad we got together. I was reading your book. I've been talking to a lot of people about you. And friend, you've done a lot of things. How did you get started?
Thank you for asking. Before I answer that question, I would like to give your audience a gift. Okay. And before I start each of my fitness programs, I teach my clients how to breathe properly. All right. So before we get started with the interview, I want to show and I want to do a demonstration on how to breathe properly. All right. So if you're watching
in that
now,
camera right there, just how to breathe properly.
If you're watching now, my name is Aaron Johnson, fitness coach, fitness trainer, and author. I want to show you, I want to do a demonstration on how to breathe properly, all right? So, if you're watching, sit up tall, back as straight as possible, feet on the ground if you can, and I want you to breathe in through the nose and blow it out of your mouth. Breathe in through the nose and blow it out of your mouth. Third set, breathe in through the nose, blow it out of your mouth. Now, I want you to put your hand in front of your face. And when you blow your breath out of the mouth, I want you to make sure that you breathe efficient enough to make sure your hand or the breath touches your hand. Breathe in through the nose and blow it out of your mouth. One more time, breathe in through the nose, out of the mouth. All right. Now, that's how I start off all my programs, and it starts to help the brain and the blood flow properly to the rest of your body. So that's what we want to start how we want to start the workout today. Thank you.
So the topic is fitness in America.
Yes.
That's our topic. But how did you physically get started on your journey? Coming out of high school, going in, shout out to Grambling. We got to shout Grambling out.
Shout out to Grambling,
They've
yes.
already told me. I got to shout them out.
That's right, Grambling State University, stand up, yes.
So going to Grambling State University, why choose there? Why did you go there?
So to start, my mom, she introduced me to sports at a very early age. I started playing flag football at around 8 years old. And then from there, Pee-wee to elementary school to high school, to middle school to high school, I've played sports and I've been an active person. And so the first time that I began to train, my brother trained me, my brother Troy, oldest brother Troy, took me to the gym, introduced me to just a regular aerobic workout. I was too young to lift weights, so we just did some basic fundamental training. And I enjoyed the experience. I got sore, I felt the burn, and I decided from that point on, or that was a deciding point from me to enjoy fitness and get into fitness for the rest of my life. And so coming from high school, I played two sports. I played basketball, football, and I was recruited out of high school for football to play at Grambling State University. Coach Doug Williams, Super Bowl MVP, he recruited me out of high school from Shreveport, Louisiana. I was an hour away from Grambling, but Coach Williams and Grambling State had never heard of me. My sister, my oldest sister, Tracy, was going to Grambling at the time. She had a friend who knew Coach Williams. He decided, my sister's friend decided to take my highlight tape, my high school highlight tape, to Coach Williams personally, sat it down on his desk. He watched it. A couple weeks later, they offered me a scholarship to go to Grambling and play college football.
But in that, so you were at Grambling State, you were playing football at this time, then what happens?
So Because of my size, I was a little bit undersized. I had the speed, I had the strength, because of my workout habits. And so my freshman year, I was a starting wide receiver, playing in the slot. And during the spring black and gold game, I tore my ACL.
Whoa.
So the previous play, I caught a touchdown, scored the touchdown. The referees called the play back. The next play, the quarterback threw me the ball again. I tried to make a move on the defender, tore my ACL. And from that point on, it sent me down a different type of workout and rehabilitation journey. And so that's really where the rubber met the road, because previous to then, working out was fun. It was an activity that you do for 3 times a day. We were working out 3 times a day. And so there was no problem. But then when you get hurt, you have to go and start from ground zero, and not only ground zero physically, but ground zero emotionally, ground zero spiritually, ground zero physically. And so that's where the learning, that's where the education really started for me, because I was the best. I felt myself to be a competitor, and I wanted to get back to that point. And so that's really where the workout and the education started for me in regards to health or fitness and exercise and wellness.
Let's go back to that. When you find out that you've torn your ACL, that's really a lot of champions. That's their thought process. The world stops, right?
Correct. And so at the time, this was 2002. I only knew of one football player that had torn their ACL. It was the running back for the Atlanta Falcons. All right, Jamal Anderson. He tore his ACL, and his value to the team went down.
Right.
And you really never heard from him after that point. And so that was really my only reference of an ACL injury. And so when I started to do the research, I started to see the rehab times was a year of rehab, which meant that I would miss 1 season, possibly 2 seasons of football, which is unheard of, and then still have to work my way back to the top.
Right.
And so that was a very depressing time.
Right.
Lots of athletes all over the world go through this particular phase. And so not only did I have to learn my way out of it, I had to work my way out of it, of that mental depression, of that physical dysfunction. And so that's, again, I can say those were basic timelines where health and wellness and fitness became really a sticking point in my life.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad you said that about depression. We don't admit that as far as depression is concerned, as far as in sports, a lot of times.
Right.
And after an injury, and that happens, because the first thing they tell you, of course, we don't think you're going to be able to get back out there again because you're trying to get drafted. I mean, you're not just going to college and getting a scholarship, and really many people that really are trying to do it, they're trying to get drafted. That was the goal.
Correct.
But at this time, ACL, you've torn it.
Yes.
So let's talk to people when they do hit that depression. What do you do?
So at the time that it was happening to me, I was more trying to keep a positive attitude. Okay.
Good.
So you go from scoring a touchdown to not playing again.
Right.
The person who takes my position starts to now score the touchdowns.
Right.
Everybody is screaming and hollering. And
right. You're on the
sitting there
sideline
watching this.
Yes.
And it's a really, and my mom introduced me to God, right?
Yeah.
So God, you having a conversation with God. God, why?
Why?
Yeah. And while you asking why, he's still scoring touchdowns.
Yes.
He's breaking Jerry Rice's record. Shout out to Tremont. And then he eventually 2 years later goes to the NFL.
Gets drafted.
And he gets drafted. And I'm rehabilitating my knee, but not only my knee, but my mind.
Yes.
And so through the lowest points, I thought about suicide.
Yeah.
I mean, because you go months upon months. And now what I understand is energy levels, your vibratory frequency after months and months of depression tends to weigh on your health. It weighs on your thinking. And so it weighs on how you treat other people around you. And so I was watching myself closely. Not that suicide was serious, but it was a thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so working my way out of it, going to practice every day, still working out with the team, still having to fulfill my scholarship duties.
Right.
And so I'm on scholarship. They can't.
So you're on scholarship. You still have to keep your grades.
Yes, they
right?
can't cut my scholarship. And then because I'm injured, I don't have to go to practice every day.
Right.
I only have to go to the rehab. So my class may be starting at 8 o'clock. I'm finished class at 12. By 1 o'clock, I'm finished with rehab. And the rest of my day is nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
and you're competitive.
Yeah.
You're a competitive person.
And so now I'm in class and I'm going to school, but I'm wanting to be on the field.
Right.
Okay. At the same time, my professors are looking at me walking with my crutches,
right,
going, "We didn't know you played football.
Right.
What happened?" And so I'm telling them I tore my ACL, and particularly two professors, Dr. Davis and Dr. Staten, they really sowed a bunch of seeds into my life, just speaking positivity. Aaron, you're smart. Aaron, you don't have to depend on football. Aaron,
right.
you can work your way through academics. And so it wasn't a thought at the time, because I really only knew one person who had received a advanced degree. My mom, she had a master's degree. She went back to school when she was 40. And so that was the only time. So at 20 years old, I was not thinking about a master's degree.
Right.
My professors, they were planting these seeds, and then my senior year comes around, and Aaron, what are you going to do?
Right.
You're not going to the league.
Right.
Do you want to go back to Shreveport? No, I'm not going back to Shreveport. And my professors offered me an opportunity to take an internship at LSU for graduate school to promote PhDs, young PhDs. So 20-year-olds, they were promoting 20-year-olds getting their PhDs.
Wow.
Okay, so one of our professors there, the professor over the program, Dr. Moore, shout out to Dr. Moore, he was 27 when he received his PhD in African American Studies.
Right.
And so he was encouraging us 19, 20-year-olds to keep going through your education process, 2-year master's degree, 4-year PhD, and you'll be 27, ready to conquer the world. This was the picture he was painting.
Right.
And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, it doesn't sound so bad, okay?
Right.
Go to school.
Oh, Shreveport.
Right. So I decided to go to school. I went to the internship. During the internship, I studied under a professor who was very known in sports science. Okay. And so he took me under his wings, and he said, and we did a project together. I did a research project. And so my project was the perception of African Americans in sports. That was the title of my project. Okay. So it was a summer-long project, and I had to go around the campus giving surveys to people to see what they thought about African Americans in sports. All right. It was about a 10 question survey.
Right.
And so I'm standing on the campus, cold, like a salesman, really.
Right.
Handing out, please come here. And people telling me no. And so, but I had to do this to impress my professors.
Right.
And so it became a big deal. So I did really well in this research environment. The reading, the studying, the subject matter I was very interested in, the kinesiology part of it. And so after this internship, they offered me a partial scholarship. So because I tore my ACL, I had 2 years to play at Grambling. I could go back to Grambling, play 2 years, or I could come to graduate school and pursue my master's degree. At the time, I was still a bit injured, mentally and physically.
Right.
All right. I'm out there doing my best, but I'm really not at my best.
Right.
So I go back to school. I tell my coaches about the opportunity. And then shortly after, they cut my scholarship to half.
Because you can't play the football. You're not playing football.
Right. And not only that, but I had another knee surgery, and I'm out there really on.
Oh, after that?
Yeah.
You had another knee surgery.
Yeah, it was a minor surgery, arthroscopic surgery, but it still was another surgery.
Still a surgery.
Yeah, and I had to do the rehab and go through the whole process. So,
you're young doing these surgeries.
I'm 20. Yeah, 19, 20. Yeah. And so, you have to take a real measurement of these things. How am I feeling and looking to myself? My family's looking at me. They know me to be a certain kind of way. The community is looking at me. They know me to be a certain kind of way. And at the same time, my future is dependent on this next move that I make. I could go back and get hurt. Again. Or I could go to graduate school and start to position myself for my future. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to go to LSU and to take my education to a next level. At the time, I was 22 years old. When I entered graduate school, I graduated when I was 23 with a master's in kinesiology.
Wow. That's good to know that.
Thank you.
Wow. That's a journey in itself, because many times you'll get to the point you'll keep having surgeries at a young age and maybe not be able to walk.
Right.
Let's say 40 or 50. You know what I'm saying? Because of the body.
Exactly. And a lot of times as athletes,
yeah,
we will put
that on your body.
On the first, that in the front of the mind versus how will our body respond at 50, at 60, at 40 years old. We don't really think about that. Let me get the surgery. I'll be back on the field. Coach, I'm ready to go.
Right.
That's the attitude.
Yeah.
And so,
because you're young and your body is able to snap back quicker because you're young.
Right.
But what will the long term be?
Who thinks about that?
Yeah, nobody.
And that's really, at the same time, I grew up in a single parent household. Okay, my father was murdered when I was 4 years old.
Wow.
Okay, so realistically, I've been having to think and make decisions and open my eyes up.
Right.
To the next steps. Where am I going to be in the future? Versus sometimes people don't have to make that decision so quickly, and so they can sit back and their parents can do things for them, and I didn't have that luxury. And so I had to take a real good look at who was going to buy my shoes for school.
Right.
Who's going to buy my clothes for school? I need new clothes. Everybody has new clothes.
Right.
Mom, she has 4 other kids. So I took it upon myself to get jobs early and to become responsible early, and so that I could help myself and build myself up. And so that's another reason why things happen so early for me as well.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm glad you're speaking on that, because now you're speaking to parents, based on the thought process of the surgeries, because the doctors as well as coaches are going to say you're going to be fine.
Right.
But you never know down the line what that fine will be. You know what I'm saying?
Now, so imagine going through what I went through, right?
Yeah.
And then going into graduate school, kinesiology. I'm taking sports psychology classes. I'm taking entrepreneurship classes to show how the business industry works.
Right.
And they show me how to repair an injured mind.
Right.
How to exercises to do in order to help an injured person build their self-confidence, build their motivation. All right. And then I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about what happened to me, and I'm going, how many other college athletes, high school athletes, and younger athletes go through this injury process?
Right.
And they have no information, very little information about how to recover themselves mentally from this. And so, and then understanding the competitive nature of sports, when the coaches and your scholarship is on the line, you're a professional athlete, your job is on the line, your family's on the line, and you have to make a decision between my injury, physical, mental, emotional, and going back on the field and risking more. And so that it motivated me to educate kids early All right. So not only for athletic kids, but for younger age kids. So I started a fitness program after I graduated with a kinesiology degree. I started a fitness program for kids, not athletic kids, but just regular kids, to show them how to build their confidence, how to become more motivated, how to exercise properly without overtraining, without injury, and to prevent injury. Because this is the psychology of what we're talking about.
Right.
How to not to spiral into that. Because once you have a surgery, once you have this injury, there's a mental dysfunction that goes with that.
Right. Let's do this. Before we go for the break, let's show the video of what you do right now and the seniors that you work with. Let's show the video, and then we'll go straight to the break.
That's right, that's right. Aaron Johnson, Aaron Johnson Fitness Club. We got Carol on the treadmill, lean and mean. That's right, that's right.
Making me sweat, Aaron.
I'm making her sweat today. Friday, 5:30 workout. What are you doing at 5:30 on Friday? Probably at a happy hour. Ha 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 ha. We're getting it in. Let's go.
Right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Celebrate the month of love with a well-appointed yet elegant SUV from Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 XT4 Luxury Collection for $319 a month, the new 2021 XT5 Luxury Collection for $399 a month, or the new 2021 XT6 Luxury Collection for $459 a month, all for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Amazing things for you.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey family, we're back with Aaron Johnson. Just like you saw as we were leaving to go from the break, you actually see him. He's the CEO of Fitness Club International. We were talking about and we were looking at you with the seniors.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So I started a fitness program for kids, okay? And because I was not a certified trainer, I had gone and got my master's degree. I knew the theories, but I wanted to get a first-hand look at people in the field, on the ground level. What were they struggling with? What things were the common person dealing with in regards to their health and wellness? Because the statistics say you start a program, 14 days later, you're not in a program anymore. I love fitness. So I'm trying to figure out why are people not interested in working out after 14 days? So long story short, I was in Baton Rouge, started my fitness program, and then I moved to Dallas. And in the time that I moved to Dallas, I was homeless for a few months. And during this time, I was sleeping in the parking lot of 24-Hour Fitness because there were cars there every day. Nobody noticed if my car was there overnight.
Wow.
And so one of my best friend, his sister called. She said, she was in Dallas. She said, Aaron, why don't you become a fitness trainer? And I was like,
now you're sitting in 24-Hour Fitness parking lot every day.
Yes.
With a master's.
In kinesiology.
Yeah.
And she said, you should become a fitness trainer. And I'm looking at the sign. I'm like, and by this time, I am starting to follow signs.
Yes.
I'm starting to learn how to read between the lines of the universe. What is the universe telling me to do? What is, what's going on around me that's going, because I'm believing that what I'm doing is purposeful and I need to go all out to do this.
Wow.
And so as I'm sitting there in the parking lot, I say, I'm gonna just go fill out the application.
Right.
See what they say.
You got a degree?
Yeah.
You got two.
But people with kinesiology master's degree do not go into a gym to train
Right.
people. No, they go to higher education, coaching, teaching,
right.
master's levels, so it was a bit of a downgrade in my mind at first. And so,
because you got your master's.
Yeah.
In kinesiology.
Come on now.
I mean, what are y'all talking about? 24 fitness trainer at 24-Hour Fitness, but you are in your car.
I am in my car. So, and really no one knows I'm living in my car right now. Like, this is a top secret mission I'm on, okay? So, so I go in, I fill out the application, and things are just smooth. Like, the guy, oh, yeah, you got a master's degree? Oh, man, come on. He fill out the application, and 2 weeks later, I was hired at 24-Hour Fitness. I go through the process.
That you've been you've been in the parking lot, sleeping in your car.
Maybe 30 days.
For 30 days.
For 30 days. So divine, so these are things that are just happening.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trusting and believing that I'm doing the right thing. And the next step is going to show itself so I can continue on this journey.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. And so on this entrepreneurship journey, because if I go get a job 9 to 5, I'm gonna be there all day. I'm not gonna be able to. And I did that for a while. I did the 9 to 5 thing for a while. And then afterwards I would do my job from 6 to 9, 6 to 2 in the morning, right? My business.
So what's the 6 to, so we do the 9 to 5, we get the job.
Yes. And I'm working as a teacher.
You're working as a teacher?
And then I have a second job from 6 to 9 selling women's shoes.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Now, how do we get to selling women's shoes? What happened?
Because I like sales. I've always liked sales, and I've always sold something. When I was in college, I sold.
But you're in the car.
Yeah.
Okay. That's 30 days. You had nothing.
I had some skate buds. Yes, I did have skate buds. Yes, that's my kids' fitness program.
Yes.
Long story. Yes, long story. So I had a product that called Skate Buds, strap-on heel skates.
Strap-on heel skates.
Yes, that I created a business plan for fitness for kids. Okay, so me and my friend, we went to California, LA. We own Sunset Boulevard. We out there, and I see these heel skates.
Right.
Skate by, and me and my friend, we looked at each other. We was
kids
like,
are just skating on by.
Man, they just skate by, and I'm
like, wait a minute.
And I'm trying to see, is anybody around me getting excited about this? Right. Like, nobody's excited about this but me.
Yeah.
And my friend. And so he was like, man, we need to get some of those. I was like, man, we sure do. This is we hadn't even we just walking up to the stand where the kids are out there skating around. And so I took the information from the guy, the vendor. I got his information. I called him when we got back to Baton Rouge, and I decided to follow up. And so I bought some of these skate buds to start to sell. All right. I want to sell these skate buds. I feel like somehow this and kinesiology is coming together. I don't know where, but it's coming together. So I got the skates, bought the skates. I go home, look at these skates for like at least 30 days. I'm looking at this box of skate buds. And I'm like, man, what am I going to do with this? God, show me what to do with this. And so at the time, I was also teaching school, substitute teaching. So that was my 9 to 5, all right? And then my 6 to 9 was working in the mall, selling women's shoes. So I go to class one day. I have these skates in my car. I'm like, I'm going to go and see if they'll let me sell them at school. But I don't know these people. I don't know. Let me just hold on. So I'm in the classroom, substitute teaching for a teacher who showed up that day. So they called me in for a substitute, to be substitute. The lady shows up that day. She says, don't worry, just sit in the back. I said, okay. So as I'm in class, they bring in a fundraiser slip. We doing a national fundraiser. We're doing a school fundraiser. We're going to sell mattresses. They were selling king size, queen size, full size mattresses to the students. The students could sell them this was the fundraiser. Let me do a fundraiser. Boom. So I create this plan. I'm going to do the skate buds, and we're going to do a fundraiser with your kids. Every skate you sell or buy, we'll give a percentage back to the PE department. This was the initial plan. And so I create this. So then I call every school in East Baton Rouge Parish, every elementary school. I email them, call them. One teacher calls me, or one principal calls me back. She said, I love your idea. Come and do a demonstration. I'm like, a demonstration? She was like, yeah, we're going to put all the kids in the gym and we're going to let you demonstrate skateboards. I'm like, okay.
Okay, yes.
Okay. So I put the plan together. A couple of my friends came, one recorded, the same one that was with me in LA, and then another friend came to do a demonstration. We get in front of these kids, 700 kids, we do a demonstration, the kids go crazy. I'm like, I need more order forms. I didn't have enough order forms. I bought like 30 order forms.
Right.
It's 700 kids. She was like, how can you get us everybody order form? I was like, I can, but I don't even know how I'm going to get this many skates if they do decide to buy them.
Right.
So, going through this process, and then I sat back. I'm like, man, one school acted like this. Man, what would the entire school district? And then I started looking at school districts. How many school districts in the country? Which are the biggest school districts? Let me go and make these connections. So this is what I'm doing from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning before I go to sleep to get up for my 6 o'clock job.
Right.
All right. And so I'm creating this plan, but I'm also getting energy. I'm getting a confidence, like, man, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? So I present my program to the Boys and Girls Club. They liked it. They bought 30 pair of skates. I had 30 pair of skates. That's all I had.
Yeah.
They bought them. I was like, man, I'm out of skate buds.
Already.
I'm already out of skate buds. One Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
I'm looking, how many Boys and Girls Clubs are there in Baton Rouge, in Louisiana, in the country? I'm gonna need some more skateboards. So this plan is coming together. So I go into another school. She said, this is dangerous. This is a dangerous idea. I moved to Dallas. I started going to those schools. She said, this is a dangerous idea. I was like, you might be right. Safety may be an issue with this.
With the skates.
With the skates. And so I said, let me create a fitness program. She was like, the kids gonna fall down, they're gonna get hurt. I was like, that's a reasonable assessment. So I created a fitness. I said, I'm gonna put a fitness program. This is gonna be the cardiovascular portion of the fitness program, but I'm gonna do some other parts of the fitness program because I'm studying kinesiology. They're showing me how to put together the programs. This is gonna be a fitness program. When I said that, the school's like, man, this is a great idea. At the time, childhood obesity is on the rise. Michelle Obama has her Let's Move initiative all over the country. I'm like, man, if I can get her to just say skate buds one time. That's all I want. It never happened, but the process was like, so, just in my mind, creating this idea of what if she says it, then you need 1 million skate buds.
Yes.
Now you need, how do you put that together? Hold up. This is a problem. So before I talk to Michelle Obama, let me see how the manufacturing process goes. So you have to go through these different stages of knowledge and understanding. And when the lady said it was dangerous, I decided to go into the fitness training to see I wanted to make a perfect fitness program for the kids. And I really did experimenting with the 50 and over, or the people in the gyms, because as I go in the gym, I'm seeing they're doing a lot of things wrong.
Right.
Like, just from my knowledge as a athlete, I've been training all my life. These people are doing a lot of things wrong. And they're doing it wrong with a lot of intensity. And a lot of what they're doing wrong is they're not stretching. That's the first thing. And their breathing is off. So I said, if I just incorporate proper breathing and proper flexibility into my programs, then the kids will benefit.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple. Let's just increase their breathing capacity, increase their blood flow, circulation.
Right.
They can move better.
Yeah.
When I incorporated that into the program, the kids started having fun. They was ready. I'm like, I thought they said the kids didn't want to work out.
Right.
They told me these kids not gonna want to do that.
Right.
I was like, okay. I get in, I see something totally different.
Right.
The kids really, really want to do this. So I'm like, perfect. I create this program over time, going to the Boys and Girls Clubs in Dallas. I volunteered for, I was volunteering like maybe 6 to 8 weeks, 12 weeks at the most, at each club, at each Boys and Girls Club in Dallas, with like 14 clubs. So for a year, I went around volunteering for free to these clubs to see if my fitness program would work.
Yeah.
Let me see if it'll work. Let me see how the kids will respond. Let me gauge their response. So I get the program together. I spend a summer with the Boys and Girls Clubs, and the kids, they gravitated towards the program. The skate buzz was a no-brainer because of what happened at the elementary school.
Right.
I knew the kids were going to do the skate buzz.
Oh, absolutely.
But I wanted them to understand fitness, understand wellness, understand health. And because childhood obesity was such a problem, and because I was substituting in these PE classrooms, I was seeing they just throw the balls out there. Kids have an option.
Right.
On if they're going to stretch and work out today, and 99% of the time, the kids they're not going to do it.
Right.
If they have an option.
Right.
So I wanted to create a program that was fun, that would keep their attention, that they would learn and grow from it. And so that's what I did with the Skateboard program. And I did a lot of my research through the gyms, working with older adults to see what they were doing wrong, to see why they were disliking fitness so much. And the answer to that question is that 90% of the people that were in the gyms had never had a correct fitness program.
Right.
They had never been introduced to correct fitness training. They were just grabbing things from, including the trainers. So, for example, you hadn't worked out in how long? Well, when was the last time you worked out?
See, now you throwing me under the bus.
I ain't gonna throw you under the bus.
How you did
This is
that.
how I do my interview. This is how I do
yesterday.
it. But say, for instance, I'm in a workout with a client.
Yeah.
And they hadn't worked out in 20 years.
Yeah.
All right. And I hear a trainer say, "Oh, you hadn't worked out in 20 years. Now you come 5 days a week." Not understanding how the body works.
Right.
Not understanding how the physiology of the body works. And so you can't go from a potential position to moving kinetic position without a proper processing.
Right.
And doing it within reason over time, starting with breathing and flexibility. And so the trainers weren't promoting this at the time, 10 years ago. It's getting better now. More information is coming into circulation. But a large majority of my clients' injuries resulted from not being flexible, not having the proper blood flow, improper breathing, which means the blood is not receiving enough oxygen, and deep breathing. And just those two things alone would prevent 80% of the injuries and the capacity that's happening with people in America today.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your book. Don't Be a Dumb Jock. Right here, the book. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. How did it start? How did you decide to write a book?
So I've been writing for a while. I've been writing, officially been writing since, say, my freshman year in college at Grambling State University. While I was going through all of these different turmoils or these different situations, a girlfriend of mine, she was like, you should write. You should start writing. So I'm injured. I'm going through all this.
Right.
And I just started writing. I had, a girlfriend. She dumped me or, this, and I'm away from home. I'm 18. It's going crazy.
Right.
So I started writing and I became a good writer. But my writing was a lot of negativity. So I was writing a lot of negative. What was going wrong with my day.
Right.
I was writing that page after page.
Right. And you
What's
were reading
wrong?
that.
Yeah. And then I reread and I was like, man, whoo, it's what's going on, but I could be a little bit more positive than this.
Yeah.
So then I started to write. So say I did that for maybe 2 or 3 years, negative writing.
The negative writing. Based on she dumping you, you're hurt, you're not being able to, be drafted. You already know this. What are you going to do with your life? All of that.
School sucks.
Exactly.
All of that.
Exactly.
And so
you're rereading this over and over in your mind.
Yes. And then I was like, man, this is negative. Like all of this is negative. And I got some good things going on, but I'm not writing about them.
Right.
So I started writing about positive things that helped, things that were good, that were going good during my day.
Right.
And so I did that for a few years. And during the Colin Kaepernick situation, where the NFL athletes were taking a knee, or Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee, and the protest with the NFL was going on.
Right.
I was building my businesses for 10 years, 8 years or 9 years before that happened. So I had turned off TV. Like, I got to turn off the TV because I don't have enough knowledge in my brain about how to run this business. Just in case Michelle Obama says skate buds.
Right.
How am I going to figure that out?
Right.
Turn off the TV, start reading.
Yes.
So I've been reading. And it just so happened that I took a peek into, like I was passing by the TV and I looked into what was going on and I was like, And then I got to the computer, Googled it, what's going on with the NFL? Look, well, okay. So I see Colin Kaepernick and I'm like, he's setting himself to be blackballed. That's my first thought. But I understand where he's coming from. I appreciate where he's coming from. I appreciate him using the platform to do this. And then it was like, why aren't the other athletes doing this? Like, because, real story, when I moved to Dallas, I was living in my car. I was getting pulled over at least once a month. Getting a ticket because I had a Lexus, because I had a nice, at least this is what I think. I was doing some things wrong, but I had about 12 tickets that I was responsible for paying. I was homeless. How am I going to pay tickets and I don't have a place? So this is what's going on. And I wasn't making any excuses, okay? But I noticed this is what was going on with me. So as he was doing what he was doing, I was like, he has a good cause. They're gonna rip him, but I appreciate his effort. As I'm working with my 50 and older clients, I go into one of their homes and the TV was on, big screen TV, the athletes, CNN was on, the people are watching, and my client, she was a 75-year-old white woman, she said, Aaron, what do you think they're gonna do?
Hold that thought. We're gonna take a break and we'll be right back because I want to hear all of this put together on the Cam Hill Show.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
I'm a part of the Prenatal Care Club now, taking all my STD tests.
Did you know your doctor's required by law to test you 3 times for syphilis and HIV?
Yes, my husband and I are making sure I get all 3 tests.
Good. Testing is the key to preventing congenital syphilis.
And good prenatal care is your first labor of love.
Glad to hear your husband is so involved.
Thank you. Yes, taking all my STD tests for syphilis is important to both of us. My prenatal promise is to prevent a stillbirth or miscarriage. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
amazing things for you.
Celebrate the month of love with a well-appointed yet elegant SUV from Houston's exclusive Cadillac to your door dealer, Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT6 Luxury Collection with first-class seating for 7 for only $459 a month for 39-month lease with just $1 down. Gulf Freeway just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Hey, family, thank you so much for coming back. We were just talking to Aaron Johnson about him speaking about with his client. Let's go from there.
So we were in her front room, and that's where we work out. And she said, Aaron, what do you think the NFL players are going to do? And my heart wanted me to say they're going to stand up for the community.
Right.
But being a football player, being a former athlete, knowing where their minds are, I said, they'll probably do nothing. And she said, why not? And so I said, because they're dumb jocks. And basically I was referring to the fact that as athletes, we don't really dive into Black histories and the civil rights and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, because this is all the things that they were standing up for. And in 2019, whenever that was, we're still doing the same thing. Right. I've been out of sports. I've had a chance to have some life experiences that help me better understand, but I still understand where they're coming from too. And so we had a conversation back and forth, and so she was like, I said, I know better. You know, I made a comment like, I know better. And she was like, that's why you should say something. And I was like, and again, learning to follow the universe, learning to look at the messages happening and not go, and just keep going. And so I thought about it. I was like, I do have mounds of experience, education. I could talk about this, but who's going to really listen?
Right.
The professional athletes are not going to listen. So I said, you know what? So this dumb jock thing kept playing in my head. And I talked about it to a few people, and they were like, oh, no, that's... And then I talked to some teachers of a school. One of them was my sister. She was like, man, that's a good job. That's a good idea, because these athletes, all they want to do is this. And I was like, Again, the universe talking to me. So I'm like, are you going to just sit on this, or are you going to go ahead and move forward? So my aunt, she had written a book, and I talked to her, and she was like, it wouldn't hurt. And so I was like, okay. So I started writing. And I kicked my roommate out, or me and my roommate separated, because I needed to clear my space. And so I moved to another apartment and removed all the furniture, and I just sat and wrote for maybe like 6 months, just writing, revising. And what I wanted to do was, I wanted to, just like in my kids fitness program, I wanted to introduce them, or the readers, to concepts that would help build self-esteem, build motivation, real exercise that my education taught me, that I did, and I was able to see the benefits of these exercises, mental exercises as well as physical exercise. And then I decided so that's what I wanted to write in the book. I wanted to put in the book what helped me through my journey from athlete to entrepreneur, from injured athlete to entrepreneur, and how I was able to take the exercises and build on my education, understand the difficulties that normal people are seeing in a gym that these professional athletes are not dealing with physically, mentally, emotionally, but then also understanding that they're the same. So I go work in a gym, and these people that are talking to me about their illness, their sickness, their previous history, they're going through pains and illness, and they're not being properly rehabilitated either.
Right.
So where do they go?
Right.
Who's talking to them? Right? And so I decided to break it down to its simplest form. That's what I did in my book. I'm breaking down stories in my life, that some of which we talked about, and explaining how through sports psychology, through kinesiology, how the body responds mentally, physically, emotionally, your nervous system, your muscular systems, they all respond, or they all are affected by your injury.
Right.
Whether it's a physical injury, whether it's a mental injury, whatever injury it is. And so that's where my book is going at this point.
Absolutely. I'm so glad for it. And the name, that's how it came up, the actual name.
So that's how, so the name comes up, but the dumb jock part is, dumb jock is really a term that academics use when we argue, is that word possible or not? And I'm gonna give you an example. So in kinesiology, in exercise science, when you exercise the body, the mind gets stronger.
Mm-hmm.
You become more emotionally aware just from exercise, okay? We talking about athletes starting to exercise at 5 years old, 15 years old, 25 years old. We teach these athletes how to prepare for game of life.
Mm-hmm.
Not only game of sport, but the game of life. And so these techniques that we're teaching them, hard work pays off, emotional intelligence, perseverance, overcome obstacles, coping with failure. These are things that we teach 5-year-olds all the way up to when you're playing sports. The normal person, the non-athletic person, may not get these innate lessons until much later on.
Right.
All right. And so, and I started to understand this inside of the gym. I'm seeing how people are having time coping with things that from their childhood, and they 60, 70, 50, 40, 60. And I'm like, how or why? And so I started to dive more into that, and just understanding that there's no recourse. Like I'm telling you, most people have never been trained physically right, properly. Well, they haven't been trained mentally right either, through my experience as a fitness trainer. In sports, we teach you proper mind, proper body, proper discipline, emotional intelligence. So if we were able to connect these two information bases, that's what Don't Be a Dumb Jock is doing.
Sounds good. Let's do this. Speaking to the camera, leave your last words to that to our viewers, and also how can they get in touch with you?
All right, Aaron Johnson, Aaron Johnson Fitness Club. It feels great to be in shape. You can get in touch with me at all social media sites at Aaron Johnson Fitness. I just want to encourage you, the viewers that are listening, to become more aware of your health. Become more aware of your breathing, starting with your breathing. If your muscles are sore, if your muscles are tight, let's not continue that chronic pain for years and years. Let's take a time, let's think about it, let's feel, and then let's get to the proper solutions, which would be the proper diets, the proper exercise, hashtag drink more H2O. How was that?
Sounds good. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything. Thank you for just, doing what you do and everything you've done in the book. And keep going, my friend. I appreciate you. So glad you're doing that. Thank you so much, buddy.
And I want to thank you for accepting me as a young entrepreneur, because, you know, some people will look at my story and go, oh, wait till you sell 1 million copies, then come on my show. Wait till you whatever. Wait till you get a little bit older. Wait till you got a more experience. But you and your staff, Diana, she was very open to what I was bringing to the table. And I want to thank you and congratulate you on all of your success and everything that you're doing too.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. On Wednesday, we will have Annette Galloway. She is the producer of Just a Friend, and you can find that on Amazon Prime. Talk to you then, 12:30 to 1:30 Central Standard Time. See you then. Bye.